Their focus becomes elsewhere. It becomes their home. This earth becomes their home. So if you'll notice, even the rich apostles sold their possessions and just lived simple lives. It's the whole mindset that this earth is not my home, and that they're here to fulfill a job, a role for the Lord while they're here. And so, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But we're going to see what heaven's like sooner or later. I mean, a lot sooner than most people think. Question from a listener. Sherry, when do you think they're going to implement martial law, and how can I stay immune to these plagues that are already popping up here in Youngstown? People are popping up with these horrible rashes, and somebody has to say something. I don't live too far from Youngstown. I haven't heard anything about rashes. But I would be the last one to watch a lot of local news either, so I don't live too far from there. Let's see. As far as the plagues go, I'm not saying an orgone pendant or keeping orgone around would prevent it, but it certainly wouldn't hurt. It certainly wouldn't hurt to keep orgone in your car, so when you're traveling you have orgone in your car. Have one in your pocket, have one on your purse, get a pendant, wear that at all times. A lot of people are going to come down with these plagues, Christians alike, believers alike, innocent people, guilty people, just a lot of people in general who don't have the Lord's protection are going to be coming down with these plagues and diseases. And what I mean by the Lord's protection is He's specifically saying, no, this one's going to stay healthy, I need this one for something else later or whatever. He decides who lives and who dies on this earth. And so, but it's just going to be random. It's going to be so random. And so it's going to affect everybody across the board. And so, just a lot of plagues coming. A third of mankind's going to die of plagues. And something I saw that was in the codes yesterday, I was looking through them. And I wish I'd seen it weeks ago, but I didn't. And the Lord hides things from me so I don't see things, and sometimes until after they happen. I don't know why He does that, but His sense of humor, I guess. But I had seen where they are infecting organic produce. And so this latest salmonella scare, this latest thing with peppers, it's not the tomatoes, it's the peppers, and you don't really know where it is or where it's coming from. They're doing it on purpose. And I know you're all shocked. I can hear the gasping across internet land. They are doing this. They're infecting organic produce. They're poisoning it. And I saw the term peppering, and so I don't know what that means. But we would think of something as peppering, but this is the Hebrews here, and oftentimes they'll use terms that we never think of in ways of using them. And so I'm thinking peppering. Maybe that's just some kind of poison powder, or I can guarantee you it wouldn't be normal pepper. I can guarantee you that. So it's not peppering the way we'd think of putting pepper on food. So I do know without a doubt that they're targeting the organic produce. And you know what, I've already talked about they're targeting the breadbaskets of the world, because look at all the destructions here in America just in the springtime, so that people couldn't even plant gardens. All the floods everywhere. People couldn't even get gardens planted. And in other countries, the rice section, and they're targeting it not just in America, but around the world. And so, people won't be able to import or export food because nobody has any. The farming's gone to the floods. And so, I would just keep orgone on you at all times, because it is a healer. And it may prevent you from getting these plagues. Another thing is these chemtrails are being used to spread plagues around the world. And so if you saturate your area, not just of your home and your own property, but get out into your towns, it'll knock the chemtrails out of the skies. They can't stick, and they'll stop coming and spraying your area. And so get orgone in your areas. And if you don't believe me, just get some to your neighborhood, and when you see a big hole above your head that's clear in the sky, and every place else there's chemtrails, then you'll know. And you'll get out and get the other areas out around the area you got. Question from a listener. What about specific sizes? Do they have different uses? You know what, a blaster is the same thing as a 5-ounce home orgone generator or a 10-ounce. The 5 ounces and the 10 ounces just have more coil in them and more crystals. Bigger crystals, more power. I love the little ones. Just the little muffins. I love them. Because that's what I started out on years ago. And I just did my yard, my house, and then my town, and I'd see towers, and I'd throw them at them. And I had done my whole neighborhood, and then had noticed that there was this big hole up in the sky. It was clear. You could see the sky. And every place else had orgone, these chemtrails in the area. And so I went out and I did the rest of the area with orgone blasters. I did a grid. I got a map and did this big circle around my area. And chemtrails won't stick anymore. And I just used the little muffins. And so I just love those little things to death. I would, now the bigger ones, like a 5 ounce, they just have more crystal and more coil in them, the 10 ounces. And the 10 ounces are great for water. If you're going to do your property, do orgone blasters throughout your property and put a 10 ounce or a bigger one in the middle of it or something. They'll cover about 10 atmospheric miles, where a 5 ounce will cover about 5 miles. And a 3 ounce blaster, the little ones, will cover about a 3 mile atmospheric radius. So it's pretty much, 3 ounce blaster, 3 miles, 5 ounce, 5 miles, 10 ounce, 10 miles. But these are atmospheric miles. And so, like if I go out, I live in a cow town, 2-horse town here. And I'll put those 10 ounces or 5 ounces in cow fields. And you got to watch it, though, because cows will eat them. They'll get them where the cows won't get them. Put them in bushes, ditches, outside fences or whatever, someplace. Because cows will eat anything. You don't want them getting your orgone. If you see towers, get them in areas around towers. I was driving down the road last week, going to the lake, dropped my son off at a birthday party, and there was this vicious tower there, and I've never seen it before, and it was low enough to where nobody would see it unless you were just driving down that particular road. And so went home and got some orgone, came back and got that area pretty good. You don't have to get right up on a tower. In fact, you don't want to, because if they service the tower, they'll find your orgone. And so just get it around the area. Your orgone in trees, bushes. So that's basically just the difference. They're all orgone generators. I just like to call little ones blasters. Yeah, small for TV, large for water, bed, etc., computers. The 3 and 5 ounces, either one will work, or the 10 ounces. Like I said, you can't overkill enough. You can't put it too much. It's not going to hurt you. But it is a lot cheaper just to stick with the muffins, the little blasters, the 3 ounces. You can make more pans of that. Money will go a little bit further. And like the 10 ounces are great for the water. If you don't have any bigger molds to make, larger orgone, just use the blasters. Throw them in rivers, throw them in lakes. Just use more. Just put more in it. I have on my Make Your Own page, OrgoneBlasters.com, links to the very molds I use for my 5 ounce and 10 ounce blasters. There's sundae glasses, ice cream glasses. So that's what you can use. Question from a listener. Other than orgone, because I'm on top of that, these neo-Nazi jarhead world police, is it possible to put up a resistance, or is Gandhi and Dr. King right mass non-cooperation? They're going to try to take all of our weapons. When the time comes, should we fight or just surrender our lives? I'm not laying down my weapons and walking to a train. They can kiss my big white butt. I'm not just going to say roll over to the New World Order and say, okay, I'm going. I would defend myself and my kids. Do as the Lord leads, We have every right, God-given right, to defend ourselves and our families and our loved ones and our property. And so, whether they say we do or don't, the Lord's given it to us. And so, do what you have to do. I mean, you think about the Holocaust, folks. What was the one thing you thought? When you're growing up and you're learning about the Holocaust and how all these Jews would just march to the trains to their deaths. Why didn't they do something? That's got to be on everybody's mind when you're first learning about this in school. Why didn't they do something? Why didn't the men fight? Why didn't the women kick? Why didn't somebody do something? Why would they just get on these trains and march to their deaths? Because they were deceived and they didn't know what was going on. And so that's what I've been talking about for years. Don't go to relocation centers. Don't believe the government when they say they're going to relocate you. Don't believe them. I've yet to hear back from anybody who got on a FEMA bus to be relocated from New Orleans. There's over 2,000 adults still missing. I never heard from anybody talk about the bus ride and where they went.